Welcome back to our weekly walkthrough, where we bring the above, below, and talk about the transits you should know. So we are in our week of February 2nd through the 8th. And this week is a little bit easier than last week, which isn't hard, to be honest. But we're starting off with the Six of Cups reversed, and this is a particularly playful one. And with that, there is almost a manic sense to the energy. Like, we've been going through so much that we are left with this fixation on, oh, the past was so great. Like, this is that chronic nostalgia that can actually become poisonous if we let it go too deep. Like, don't glaze what was as though it's never had its own problems. And in the same way, don't act like, everything that was is gone. Because life is more complicated than that. And neither of those things are true. With that, though, we do have our lovely Lady Venus, the particularly shiny one, through the Empress. And this really speaks to the building of Piscean energy as well as Uranus's station in Taurus, because we're going to have Mercury ingress into Pisces where Venus exalts. And there is this sense of the sensory. There is a Venusian component, even with how we start our week. Because on Monday, we begin with the opposition at just before 3 a.m. Mountain Time of the Leo moon to Venus. And then we have the opposition to Mercury, as well as a trine to Chiron and a square to Uranus. Then Mercury sextiles Chiron and the moon moves into Virgo just before 8:30 p.m. So there's a lot of Leo moon action, a lot of lunar action, and our cards give us, our challenge card is the World Reversed, which is crossing the Four of Magpies. And this Four of Magpies is really giving mutual aid. So I want you to think about mutual aid Monday. And now that I've said those words, who knows how many of you will even see this video, but for real, like, what can we give back? What can we build in order to start breaking these cycles that are already gone? Like, there is a heavy decay here. These are fossils. These are the preserved remnants that are only still standing because no one has just elbowed them over yet. And like, step by step, the way that we get out of them, the way that we challenge the needs of the moon with the Venusian and like face that, is to ask who has what and who needs it. And there's a redistribution quality there. So on Monday, who can you help and who can you ask for help? We move on to Tuesday, and really the moon opposes the North Node, conjuncts the South Node, and then we have the Uranus station, and that's kind of the whole vibe. And what's interesting is we just have the Goddess of Cups, who's got her lovely earthy vibes and her rich coffee brewing and her little like beans and berries, and with that it is very Taurian. Like, the energy feels like, okay, here's the punctuation. This is our last hurrah. We're done with Uranus and Taurus. We're finishing up at 27 degrees. What's the point? What's in the cup? What are we getting out of this? What are we getting out of this contemplative stillness as we transition into what will be much faster energy once Uranus hits Gemini? So I want you to really think about it on Tuesday. Like, what has that journey been for you? What has that long 7-year stretch of Uranus and Taurus given you? What's the wisdom? What roots have you planted in what new gardens? And, have a cup and contemplate. Speaking of cups, Wednesday brings us the Four of Cups reverse, and a particularly stark one at that, as well as the Builder. Now, the Builder has this quality, and it's the builder reversed, of continuing to make things without knowing why. So this ties back to what I was saying about building things and mutual aid on Monday. But make sure that it's purposeful. Don't let it be frenetic. And with this, we have the moon sextile Jupiter and Venus exile Chiron, and then that Virgo moon will trine Uranus at the end of Taurus. And there is this need, as we sit in this, to really ask, like, A, what are we waiting for? And B, what are we doing while we're waiting? Is it busy work or is it purposeful? Where is our energy going? Where could it be going? What would actually help right now versus hinder? And so I really want you to use Wednesday to assess, what are your efforts and why aren't you satisfied with them? Like, what is causing that sense of lack that's probably started on Tuesday with that node hitting the south node and opposing the north, or with the moon hitting the south node and opposing the north node. There can be this like things are missing. And I want you to really, really reflect on what and why and what are your actions doing to contribute to this or to change it. Because you have support. Like, we have both Venus and Jupiter in support roles on Wednesday. So what would it take for you to accept that support? On Thursday, the moon will oppose Saturn and then move into Libra. We get Mercury square Uranus, so mini Mercury retrograde vibes. Definitely crunchy, definitely technology issues, but micro, like it's not going to last very long. Then we have moon trine Pluto and trine Mars. And so with that, we have a familiar friend. We get our Six of Swords again, but we also have tradition. And so this feels like the rites of grief. This feels like when we lose things, how do we consecrate them as sacred? How do we honor these transitions? Like, when we think about ceremony and we think about devotion, there is a Venusian element there. There is regalia, you have offerings, you try to make shrines beautiful and keep them clean. And so the Libra moon is coming in, talking to the Aquarius placements who are really going through it right now, and is like, what can I bring? What can I gather to facilitate the grieving? We move over to Friday, and that Libra moon squares Jupiter, trines the sun, and then Mercury drops down into fall in Pisces, and the moon opposes Chiron. With this, we have our death card. Very adorable, yet very literal death card from the Alley Man. Like, this is about the actual raw compost of life, like the physical side of decay. And the challenge card is the Mystic Seed reversed. So with this, how can we honor the sacredness in loss is a transitional story between Thursday and Friday. How can we make loss mean something? And this isn't to say that all losses are righteous and that all death is good and because it's inevitable. It's not that. It's, if it's going to happen anyway, how do we consecrate it? How do we work with it? How do we look at the hand of a larger design in this? Like, what is the pattern? What can we learn from it? Because if we are losing anyway, if we are faced with this anyway, what can we find in it that can help carry us forward? On Saturday, we have the moon trine Venus before dropping into fall in Scorpio, where we have a fall party with the moon and Pisces trine, and then the moon will square Pluto. And this is the Page of Cups. This feels like everything sucks, so I'm just going to go hard and I'm going to party. There are opportunities Saturday, but pace yourself. Sunday, we mostly are looking at moon square Mars and Venus square Uranus, and there is the Hanged Man. So with Sunday, honor your sacrifices, your personal sacrifices and challenges. All right.